Virtue is the heart of Stoicism. It is about being the best version of yourself. Stoics think that living a life of virtue is the only way to be happy. Their four cardinal virtues are wisdom. It means making smart choices, learning from life, and understanding the important things you should focus on. Courage. It is not just about being brave in danger, but also having the ability to face everyday challenges and speak the truth, even when under threat. Justice. It stands for being fair to others, doing the right thing, and helping out where you. Temperance. It means self-control. It's about finding balance and not going overboard, whether it's with emotions, food, or anything else. Yes, sometimes I've felt that my kindness goes unnoticed or is taken for granted. It's a fairly common phenomenon in our society. Genuine generosity often lacks the recognition it deserves and can even be met with indifference. We're often raised with the idea that we should prioritize others' needs above our own, leading us to be inclined to give, help, and share excessively. However, sometimes this can backfire on us. People start to perceive us as an endless source of assistance, resulting in us receiving less than we give. This applies not only to time and money, but also to our energy and peace of mind. The pursuit of balance and self-preservation, as taught by Stoicism, is an important aspect in this context. Sometimes we overextend ourselves, forgetting about our own boundaries. Let's consider 10 dangerous consequences of excessive kindness and 4 principles of Stoicism that can help us find harmony. Firstly, excessive kindness can make us appear weak. Stoicism teaches us inner strength and self-restraint. However, if we're always helping everyone, we may give the wrong impression. It's important to strike a balance between assistance and excessive kindness. Start saying no firmly, but politely, to show that you respect your time and value yourself. This allows others to see you not just as someone willing to do everything, but as a person deserving of respect and recognition. Saying no isn't a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of inner strength and self-respect. So, next time you feel like you should say yes when you want to say no, remember the significance of this statement. Perhaps it's exactly what's needed to maintain your strength and worth. Secondly, unrealistic expectations can lead to disappointment. The Stoic principle emphasizes that happiness should not depend on the actions of others. When you help, it's better not to expect too much in return. This will help you avoid disappointment and maintain emotional stability. Let's be realistic. Acknowledging that it's challenging to be generous while expecting reciprocity is important. You may want your contribution to be seen and valued, but what if it doesn't happen? Try not to place too high expectations. If you do something kind without expecting gratitude or reward, you free yourself from psychological pressure. The true value lies in the act of helping itself, not in what you receive in return. Such thinking will allow you to maintain peace and focus regardless of what's happening around you. Third, giving too much attracts the wrong people. According to the Stoic perspective, the energy you emit attracts people with similar characteristics. When you are positive and balanced, you attract generous and sincere individuals. However, if you constantly give without stopping until exhaustion, you begin to attract needy people. They are more interested in receiving than giving. Imagine always being available and ready to help. Sounds great, doesn't it? However, you find that people around you are not willing to give back, they simply take. Moreover, you may attract those who will exploit your generosity as opportunists. The Stoic solution lies in maintaining balance and defining your own boundaries. It's important to notice when you're overextending yourself. Setting boundaries is key. When you do this, you preserve your energy and attract the right people, those who appreciate your contribution and are willing to give in return. You can think of it as moving down a two-way street. You want to be alongside those who respect you and value what you bring. To achieve this, it's important to respect your own boundaries. Give, but don't let it deplete you. In this way, you build respectful and genuine relationships based on reciprocity, rather than one-sided giving. This is the path of Stoicism: balanced, respectful, and true. Fourth, losing yourself to the needs of others is what Stoic wisdom teaches us. It emphasizes the importance of living wisely and virtuously, which includes the ability to recognize when it's necessary to prioritize oneself. When you are constantly preoccupied with other people's problems, you may be neglecting your own inner struggles. Continuous service to others leads to a loss of connection with oneself, where your own voice gets drowned out in the noise of others' demands. And when finally you have a moment of tranquility, all the fear and pain you've been avoiding come rushing back. Stoic teachings assert that caring for our own needs is not selfishness, but a necessity. It's about preserving our essence, establishing boundaries, and exploring our own path. It's not just good for us, it's the key to authentic living. So the next time you feel the urge to immerse yourself in other people's problems, pause for a moment, confront those heavy feelings face to face. Be true to what you truly need and want. Learn to say no when necessary. You'll find that by respecting your own boundaries, you'll be in a much better position to help others in a healthy and balanced way. Fifth, the trap of constant giving. Stoic philosophy teaches us to value moderation, especially when it comes to giving. It's like navigating a ship in the ocean of endless demands. When you give too much and too often, people start to expect it. They become accustomed to you always taking the next step. At first, this may seem pleasant, but it's a dangerous path. Human nature seeks ease, and if you always take on responsibility and solve problems, you allow others to stay in their comfort zone. They don't feel the need to move forward or face difficulties because they know you'll handle it. But this affects not only them but also you. Ultimately, you burden yourself with what isn't yours, and it can deplete your energy and emotional state. Stoics teach us to find balance to give, but not so much that we lose ourselves in the process. When you start setting boundaries and dialing it back a bit, an interesting phenomenon occurs. People begin to realize that they can't always rely on you. They start to take responsibility for their own affairs, which is beneficial for both them and you. A powerful quote by Seneca beautifully captures this idea. True generosity is to give what is needed, not just what is asked. It reminds us that sometimes the greatest gift we can give is to give others the opportunity to meet their own needs. In this balance, we find the essence of true generosity that enriches all participants without depleting anyone. By practicing balanced generosity, you maintain control over your life and avoid the cycle of constant giving. Remember that it's not only important to be generous, but to be smart about it. Thus, you help others without losing yourself. And that is the true art of giving. Sixth, excessive kindness can lead to suspicion. The art of kindness can breed suspicion. Stoicism teaches us to live in accordance with our values, irrespective of others' opinions, aiming to uphold our principles and cultivate a sincere and enduring reputation. However, in a world where genuine kindness is rare, excessive kindness can ironically perplex people. They may start to question your motives, wondering why someone is so generous and what it means for them. It's not necessarily encountering a group of cynical individuals often, it's just a realistic response. People are accustomed to seeing kindness with hidden motives, so when someone seeks to give everything and help, it may raise suspicions. In many cases, they have encountered individuals who seemed kind but had hidden selfish agendas. This experience leads them to approach genuine acts of kindness with caution and even skepticism. However, this doesn't mean you should dampen your generosity. Rather, it's about finding balance. Be kind but transparent. Let your actions speak of your integrity. Remember, it's not about seeking approval. It's about staying true to your values. Over time, consistent and balanced kindness can break down the walls of suspicion by demonstrating sincerity. Seventh, the risk of falling into dependency. Stoicism warns us of the danger of losing balance in life, especially when it comes to giving. It's all about moderation and self-control. When you give too much, it can lead to serious consequences. You might start to cope with stress and emotional exhaustion, and then the risk of dependency arises. You may find yourself overeating or spending too much time gaming just to fill the void created by constant giving. Stoics urge us to listen to loved ones. If a friend or family member expresses concern about your habits, it's worth paying attention to. Often, we're inclined to deny the possibility of dependency and find it easier to dismiss their concerns than to acknowledge the problem. However, these remarks often stem from care and love. Accepting such feedback is a step towards self-analysis and growth. It's important to remember that those who care about us aren't trying to criticize or judge us, they're concerned about our well-being. Taking their concerns seriously is a way of respecting ourselves and our path to a balanced life. This is the practice of Stoicism in real life, where moderation and self-control are used to avoid behaviors that could harm our health and happiness. Ultimately, recognizing and addressing these risks is a sign of strength and a testament to our commitment to our well-being, striving to live in accordance with the Stoic principles of balance and self-analysis. 8th, overcoming issues related to unbalanced relationships. Imagine being the person others always turn to when they're in a bind. Initially, it may bring satisfaction, a sense of being needed, but then you notice being excluded from dinner invitations or casual get-togethers. You're always ready to help in tough times, but when it comes to sharing joy and good moments, you're left out, as if you're only good enough to offer assistance, but not to share in the happiness. This realization can be painful. You're not just a helper, you're also someone who seeks connection and joy. It's a common situation where people often categorize others based on their usefulness. If you're always on standby to help, it becomes your label. But ultimately, you miss out on the opportunity to be a true friend, on equal terms with others. Such a situation is not only unfair, but also signals the need to consider whether you're valued for who you truly are or just for what you can do for others. Let's look at this from a Stoic perspective. It's not just about lack of emotions, but understanding human nature and behaving wisely. This situation gives you a chance to reassess your relationships and test your ability to distinguish those who value you as a person from those who see you only as a means to their ends. It's difficult but important. You learn to identify genuine friendship and distance yourself from one-sided relationships. Moreover, Stoicism urges us to reflect on our role in this dynamic. Are we perpetuating such behavior by always agreeing to help? Or are we neglecting to express our own needs and desires in friendships? It's about finding a balance between helping others and staying true to ourselves, setting boundaries, and expressing our own needs. This approach invites more genuine connections into our lives, attracting people who appreciate us for our completeness. It not only aligns with Stoic principles, but also fosters deeper and more balanced relationships. 9th, lack of reasonable boundaries with close people. Stoic wisdom teaches us to set reasonable boundaries in all areas of life, including relationships with family and friends. Paradoxically, it is often with those closest to us that we find it most difficult to firmly say no. We fear offending them or appearing indifferent. However, Stoicism reminds us that true care for others does not mean boundless self-sacrifice, but involves valuing our own strength and resources. Sometimes our loved ones may unconsciously perceive our willingness to help as something natural. They become accustomed to always seeing us by their side, and suddenly we realize that our own needs take a back seat. Assisting friends should have its boundaries, otherwise, we ourselves may end up needing friends. It's important not to fall into extremes, not completely refusing to help, but also not allowing ourselves to be constantly drained to the last drop. We can learn to express our boundaries with love and respect. For example, if a friend asks to borrow a large sum of money, we can promise to help with a smaller but manageable amount. Or if a relative asks for help with a week-long renovation, we can explain that we can only dedicate weekends to it. The main thing is to express our position calmly and respectfully, without feeling guilt or shame. Practice this skill gradually, starting with small refusals or non-urgent requests. Over time, you will feel more confident in setting boundaries in more serious situations. It's important to act from the heart and remember that caring for oneself is also an expression of love for oneself. Your loved ones may not initially understand your decision or even be offended, but if the relationship is truly strong, they will accept your right to say no. Then, instead of unhealthy dependence, you will gain equal and mature relationships where the needs of both sides are respected and considered. This is the manifestation of true Stoic wisdom in interpersonal connections. 10th, underestimation of personal time. One of the most valuable gifts life gives us is time. However, in the hustle and bustle of everyday life and our desire to help others, we often overlook the value of this priceless resource. Stoic philosophy advocates for careful stewardship of time and its wise utilization. In our world of constant haste, it's easy to fall into the trap of endless commitments. We react to every request, agree to unnecessary meetings, and eventually realize that real life is passing us by. As Seneca said, the greatest waste in life is the loss of time. Before agreeing to the next request or obligation, it's worth asking yourself, is this worth my time and attention? It's necessary to learn to value every hour and minute as much as we value our spent money. Time doesn't come back, so refuse secondary tasks in favor of what truly matters in your life. Life is short, and no one knows how much time we are allotted. Therefore, cherish every day and every hour, fill them with deep meaning, without wasting them on trifles. Then you can say together with Seneca, I have not lost a single day. This is truly a Stoic approach to time as the greatest gift of life. And now let's consider methods to prevent others from using your time. The first strategy involves mastering the art of saying no, which is key to a balanced life, according to the principles of Stoic philosophy. Time and energy are considered among the most valuable resources, and Stoics advocate for their conscious and balanced distribution. The ability to say no is not just a refusal, it is a demonstration of self-respect and acknowledgement of our own boundaries. Saying no means recognizing that not every request or demand deserves our agreement. While many of us often view the word no as a negative response, a sign of stubbornness, or even rudeness, the real negativity lies in agreeing to what leaves us feeling overwhelmed or resentful. Saying no is not pessimism, it is practical wisdom and protection of our well-being. You can start by practicing saying no in situations that do not require much effort. Stand in front of a mirror and practice saying no firmly and politely. Understanding that every time we say no, we are making a choice in favor of how we live our lives will help us set boundaries and protect our time and energy. The ability to say no is a skill that requires development. At first, it may feel unfamiliar, but with practice, it will become a powerful tool for maintaining balance in life. Mastering the art of saying no allows us to reclaim our freedom and protect ourselves from excessive burdens or exploitation, paving the way for a life that aligns with our values and priorities, according to Stoic teachings. The second strategy involves tuning into your emotions, which is an important aspect of Stoicism. Self-analysis plays a key role in understanding your emotions and reactions, which is necessary for achieving a balanced life. This strategy includes listening to your feelings, which indicate whether you are overextending yourself by helping others. Stoics didn't suppress their emotions, on the contrary, they encouraged deep understanding of them. It's important to notice what feelings arise when you help others. Ideally, generosity should bring a sense of satisfaction and joy, but if after helping you feel tired, resentful, or exploited, it's a signal that something is amiss. Self-analysis after assisting someone can help you understand what you're feeling at the moment and sense whether you're energized or depleted. It's not about guilt or judgment, but rather honest self-assessment. By listening to your emotions, you can adjust your actions, setting boundaries, saying no more often, or more carefully choosing whom and how to help. The Stoic approach to self-analysis helps find a balance between helping others and caring for oneself. The third strategy involves guarding against energy vampires, which in Stoicism implies discernment and self-discipline, especially in relationships. This strategy entails identifying and distancing oneself from people who drain your energy, known as energy vampires. Energy vampires manifest through endless complaints, pessimism, and a tendency to exaggerate problems. Their presence can significantly deplete your mental and emotional reserves. The Stoic approach to such relationships is not about harshness, but about wise insight. It involves recognizing that some people may not change or benefit from your support. It's important to set firm boundaries with such individuals. If you consistently feel worse after interacting with them, it's a sign to reconsider the relationship. This doesn't mean abruptly cutting ties or being indifferent to their problems, but rather limiting the impact of their negativity on your emotional well-being. Remember that Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others, only our reactions to them. By choosing where and with whom to invest your energy, you demonstrate Stoic wisdom and care for yourself. The fourth strategy is focused on respecting your own space and time, which are fundamental principles of Stoicism. It's important to carve out time and space for yourself, engaging in activities that bring joy and relaxation, whether it's yoga, drawing, or simply taking time to relax with a cup of tea and music. This self-care time should be treated as seriously as any other commitments in your schedule. It's important to schedule it regularly and prioritize its effective implementation. When someone asks for your help during your designated self-care time, it's important to remember your commitments to yourself. This doesn't mean you don't want to help or care about others. It means respecting your own needs. You can be polite but firm, explaining that you have commitments to yourself. Remember that your time and space deserve respect. By maintaining these personal boundaries, you're not only taking care of yourself but also considering others, showing them how to treat you with respect. This approach helps maintain a healthy balance between helping others and taking care of your own needs. Stoic wisdom teaches us that balance is key to all aspects of life. Remember that the word no can become your greatest ally when you're unsure whether to make a commitment or not.